working. Or to work.
Oh, I might have came over here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Guy. Glue ain't the good stuff like you know, super glue it or Gorilla Glue it or whatever.
Say Gorilla Glue.
And then when I got back in Sulphur, we jumped out.
Before anyone else.
Oh, before you read it.
Yeah.
Sure.
I get the messages from John Cristobal.
I talked to him too.
Has beaten out or on budgets?
I mean, I didn't get it in my.
I can't win.
I didn't.
Can't please everybody.
Right. Hey, follow your lead.
I wasn't fine with it. I mean, it didn't come in. It was just. I feel like if it's. Nor is it going to change my opinion, right?
Hey, Tiff. Sorry to interrupt.
We're at 5.
25 to 40. It's kind of the range that I'm finding.
Right.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Tiffany, will you please take the roll?
Councilwoman Garvey.
Present.
Councilwoman Workela.
Present.
Councilman Brennan.
Present.
Councilman Cardinal.
Present.
Mayor Sykes.
Present. Let the record reflect that we do have a quorum for Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025. Before we go down to recognize in person the audience, I had a council lady wanted to talk about something real quick.
Yeah, no, I just, I had an individual reach out with an email, inquiring about it. And so it says here, the purpose of this agenda item is to provide an opportunity for members of the public to address the city council matters that are not listed on the current agenda. So how I interpret that was, well, it doesn't say you can't ask questions on the current agenda, but I did call Paul right before this meeting. I said, just can you clarify what this change means? And maybe we can discuss it for a second.
Yeah, and I had this conversation with Decker last meeting, and to the extent that to the extent that it is perceived to giving a chilling effect to something that is on the agenda but not subject to public comment, I do think it's probably within Robert's rules, and I do think it's within the purview of that it can be subject to public comment in the first opening time period. Why do you stare at me now?
Okay.
That was summing up.
Sure. No. So I'm
It's
just.
just the addition of just a few words I can clarify that.
Okay, very good. And I just want to point out too, about a year and a half ago, that was one of my requests, was to move that from the bottom of the agenda up to the top of the agenda, so I could hear what the citizens had to say before.
Yeah. The main purpose in the editing to that was to keep it to, no personal tax, and keep it to things that are actually of municipal business kinds of things. But I realized the way I wrote it, it gave the impression of going, well, if you're going to be talking about this later, but I don't get to comment about it, why can't I in the beginning of it? And that's a fair point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It was more for like, don't come and start advertising, and you know what I mean? Okay. All right. That will be changed at the next council meeting. Let's see here. Recognized person in the audience. Please limit your comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. The purpose of the agenda item is to provide an opportunity for members of the public to address the city council on matters that are not listed on the current agenda and are within the subject matter jurisdiction of municipal purview by the city. Comments may not involve personal matters, legal disputes, or the private non-municipal affairs of a constituency. Regarding the comments or comments regarding zoning and land use issues may only be made during public notices and hearings. So, maybe I'd like to get up for 3 minutes. Decker?
Can't talk about anything on the agenda. Kidding.
Kidding.
Oh, connected.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, I am Decker Sanders and have resided in Mountain Home since 1988. Having witnessed the 3 days of budget settings, please consider my observations and suggestions. They clearly fall within the scope and authority of this body. In regards to support of civic organizations, to address concerns on how much taxpayer funds go out to civic organizations, set a cap on the total funding available. Both you and the organizations will know your limits. Establish a timeline for application, review, and award. In the application, require the applicants to show how their organizations support the goals of the city, and require an end-of-year report showing what was accomplished. In regards to golf course operations, I'm glad I got 2 full minutes left. From my vantage point, this issue is reaching, if not already past, its tipping point. Unpopular decisions, coupled with actions contrary to strongly expressed desires by the citizens speaking on those decisions, have not yet produced the desired results. Now, issues with irrigation that have been known for at least 2 years, as attested to by the golf superintendent, had just been brought to light, prompting a substantial unplanned budget realignment in the spur of the moment. The consultant hired by the city to review and recommend improvements noted that the green fees were a bargain in the valley. Funny thing about bargains tend to entice buyers to purchase something they might not have ordinarily thought about doing. And with the bargain we had for green fees prior to the latest rounds of activities, we had players from all over the valley coming in. As the green fees come up on par with other courses in the valley, the bargain label fades away. You're left then with a straight competition. What are you offering for the dollars being asked? The consultant strongly cautioned about price sensitivity and the potential for a rapid rate increase to result in reduced usership and subsequent deepening of the funding shortfall. And yet, during the budget setting hearings, the council verbalized that even more of an increase might be needed. That may be so. But thoughtful planning by a variety of stakeholders holds the best chance to reverse this ongoing trend. So in accordance with Ordinance 1666, I call for the mayor to reinstate the Golf Advisory Committee and the City Council to consent, and to further charge the golf manager, the golf superintendent, and the committee to develop a multi-year plan to identify the needs, wants, and priorities to move the course toward what we want and what we need it to be. I'll be happy to stand for any questions.
Sticker. Come on, Don. I warmed it up for you.
I don't have much to say, but you want me to write it down, guys?
No, I got it.
Okay. I don't have much to say, but I missed the second meeting the other day, but I don't know much about the pumps or anything. I know a little bit about some of them. I know we don't have many people here that actually really work on them within a certain radius, you know. And I don't know how expensive the ones are you guys are looking at, or if they are real expensive, but there's several different versions, lots of different types of pumps. And I have some literature that I picked up 15 years ago that I'm sure is more modern than probably either what's out there, or maybe even what's out there can be repaired. I don't know that much about them, but I was wanting to talk to whoever's in, you know, Hank or Kurt there, or whoever, about them, and show him what I got, and see what, you know, if it'll help them or whatever. But I have some information that shows like water tank ones, shows floats and all kinds of stuff. And I had a pretty good book. I don't know what I did with the rest of it, but it's a contact anyway. And I met a well driller, which the guy says, we don't need a well driller, we need somebody that works on pumps. I said, well, you start with him. He's got contacts, whether they're close or far. If you don't, you know, I'm not up on the computers so that much yet. So I know you can research, but there's going to be people that aren't on the internet, that are in the dark, you know, that aren't on the computers advertising neither. I mean, there's guys that are around that stay busy, that are good at that stuff. That's all I really got to say. I mean, I know that the golf course needs some attention, probably, but I just wanted to bring that up.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay. Conflict of interest declaration. Has any council member received information pertaining to or otherwise had any contact with any person regarding any items on the city council? If so, please set forth nature of contact.
Mayor.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, so as I mentioned before, Nicholas GHN emailed me regarding recognizing persons in the audience concerned. So.
Okay.
Mayor,
Councilman Harjo?
I received the same email. Thank you.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Garvey?
I
Same?
received this. I
Okay.
received it too.
Okay. Run down to consent agenda, council. I'm gonna pull F. This one, it's in a back and forth with legal, so they couldn't get their legal to look at it in time today, so we'll just pull that one. But is there anything from A to E that you want to talk about, pull, discuss further?
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan?
I'd like to pull item D for new business, please.
Okay. Anything else, council?
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan?
make a motion to pass the consent agenda, pulling item D for new business and completely pulling item F.
Second?
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan? Councilwoman Workla?
Aye.
Councilman Harjo?
Aye.
We'll run down to old business, action and deliberation decision regarding donation of the 2026 season pass to the Women's Golf Association and authorize the staff to create a gift certificate.
Mayor.
Councilman Harjo?
I think we've had significant conversation on this and are all on the same page. Won't speak for the rest of the council, but I believe based on our comments and feedback in previous discussions that we're ready to pass this. I'll make a motion to award the 2026 season golf pass to the Women's Golf Association and authorize staff to create a gift certificate.
Do I have a second?
Mayor.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Councilman Harjo, can I seek clarification on that? I think we need to discuss, are we awarding her a 2026 season pass or are we refunding?
Mayor.
Councilman Harjo?
Councilwoman Garvey, at last my recollection, we had agreed, we're in mostly agreement that it would be valid for one unit regardless of cost of a 2026
Okay.
season pass.
Okay.
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan?
I also would just like to put in that I know like probably where this is going. I kind of help steer that ship, so to speak. But I think based on the transfer request for the golf course, we need to be careful with donations and the money. This was kind of as we called it, a one-off. But for council members that'll be present in future years, something to just watch of donations contributing to the bottom line of the deficit of the golf course.
Copy that. So there's a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Harjo?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilwoman Workla?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Right.
Run down to old business, action item number 2, deliberation decision regarding the emergent service agreement, Mountain Home Fire Department, authorized mayor to sign all required documents. Council?
Mayor.
Councilman Harjo?
We tabled this for future discussion, hoping to carve out some of the non-relevant language out of a pretty wordy service agreement. The service agreement still stands in the way that it was. After looking at the overall cost of the software as a service, on page 52 of our packet, the emergent services grand total is $285 for that annual subscription fee. Due to the fact that we have basically a lot of non-relevant information in there, but we're only seeking the software as operation as the chief would utilize it. My ask is that we go ahead and pass this at the $285 expense, and now that we have that dollar amount, that we get this moving forward and let Chief Moore and the fire department get to using this software.
And Mr. Mayor, in my defense on that, I didn't have it in Word, and I thought it would be an enormous waste of money for a $285 payment to have me try to fix the darn thing. So I was, ultimately, I was just like, just take a giant black magic marker to it, put an X through all of it, and say, here's your $285. I was like, do you have it in Word? And if you don't, I'm not gonna spend any more, I'm not gonna spend any time on this. It isn't worth the cost of me looking at it, or, excuse me, fixing it.
Mayor. Councilman Brennan, sorry.
Councilman Harder, did it get fixed? Anything above and beyond the dollar amount? Or was anything stripped out of it?
Nothing language-wise is stripped out of it. In reading through how the service agreement is phrased, there's a big chunk of their functionality that like strictly does not pertain to us. That's designed towards like more of an EMS service, but there are functions of the software that are specifically for fire use in that sense, like situational awareness and tracking, data tracking of points, what apparatus gets sent, what personnel, time in, time out, that kind of thing, that are very functional for fire, and that was the fire chief's intended use for it.
Anything locking us into a long term?
None that I could read.
Okay.
Sorry, Mayor.
Paul, it sounds like you've given it, without putting too much time into it, you've given it the blessing of.
I read it and I was like, that doesn't apply, that doesn't apply, doesn't apply, but I was like, I can't fix it.
It's safe for the
But
city.
it's fine, yeah.
Okay.
And Mayor.
Councilman Harjo?
Councilman Brennan, I should clarify that on the invoice that's provided here, shows a subscription term of essentially what equates to 1 year, June 23rd, 25 through June 22nd, 26. So it is a 1 year duration.
Just didn't know if there's automatic renewals or.
Mayor,
Councilwoman Garvey?
it does have the renewal date right behind the June 22, 2026. I was just trying to look to see, make sure that there's not any clause in there that says it will automatically renew. So bear with me here, because this is really
Chief,
long.
do you know, really quick?
To the best of my knowledge, it is something that is to be renewed annually by us. And my brief read through the thing, I think that's addressed in there at some point. But it is, it's not a fly-by-night company. They are a subsidiary of Hughes Equipment, who we deal with, purchase fire engines through and so forth. So they're a reputable company, and I don't see anything beyond a year term that we can go. And because it's also something that's designed to build on if we choose to do that. This is just a fire-based EMS revenue management system that we have. So fire-based in this version.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, paragraph,
Go ahead.
pointed out to me in paragraph 4, it says 1 year term, 60 days notice prior to the anniversary for renewal.
Okay.
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan?
I'll make a motion to, let's see here. Authorize the emergent services agreement with the Mountain Home Fire Department.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilwoman Workla?
Aye.
Councilman Harjo?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
We'll run down to new business items removed for the consent agenda. Councilman Brennan?
Thanks, Mayor. Sometimes I have a really bad memory, so any one of you, I encourage you to correct me if I misspeak about where I'm going here. But in previous years, if not just last year, I kind of raised a concern about park fees and there not being any non-resident fees associated with them. I've pointed out that we have non-resident fees for our library, but we don't have non-resident fees for our parks department or recreation department, for that matter, of which I believe there should be. And the reason I make that argument, right, is simply put that our citizens of Mountain Home are paying their taxes towards these things we offer here, whether it's parks or recreation, and those that use those facilities that are not taxpayers, citizens, essentially are getting it at a discount over the citizen because they're not paying into the tax base. Just as a general example here, the city pool, right, $2 entry fee for open swim, of which our residents have already paid a lot of money towards the taxes for building that pool. So I would request that the council entertain a non-resident fee for parks and recreation.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Orkola?
Yeah, and so if we did that, that would require a public hearing, right, Tiffany? Because it'd be a fee change, which I would be happy to hear what the public would have to say.
Councilwoman Garvey?
I think there's some things that we might need to work through, because like, say for open swim, you've got a little dude and his sister coming up to the window. Are you a resident of the city of Mountain Home? Mm-hmm. So I think, you know, before we have this discussion, there needs to be some ideas through TIF and Parks and Rec of how that would even look. I mean, swimming lessons, sure. When the mom comes in, are you a city resident? But some of these, I don't know, might be kind of easier said than done to ask that of little kids. Or even a one-day pool pass, lap swim.
Yep.
Mayor,
Councilman Harjo?
I would support having that discussion, even if it's individual council with the department heads, to kind of formulate that and have that brought back as a matter of the public hearing that we're setting a date for with this action item.
Mayor.
Councilman Brennan?
So ultimately, I'd like to table this and not hold the public hearing on August 12th. And if Tiffany wanted to make recommendations, how we could have a discussion on the fees for potential fees for the individual items on here for parks fees and recreation fees, whatever that looks like. Maybe it's a 25% increase for non-residents or some variation of that. If we could bring that back first, kind of decide those numbers, if any change is even decided on by the council, and then hold a public hearing.
Is that good? Council?
Mayor.
Table it? Oh, go ahead, Tiff.
I wasn't gonna interject, but, the purpose really of this was to establish a pass to the swimming pool. And since we didn't have a fee for a pass to enter the swimming pool, we had to do a public hearing. You know, we're gonna do a public hearing, we might as well change all the fees and do them all at one time. But if this is going to be pushed into August, by the time you set a public hearing for pool passes, and it gets noticed and comes back, the pool will be closed. So if anything, can we please move forward with the public hearing regarding the pool passes alone at the swimming pool? Because to be honest, I don't think the resident, non-resident is going to be handled real quickly. I think that is going to be a couple discussions, in my opinion. And knowing the history I know, we've talked about it at least 3 times that I know of.
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan.
Tiffany, when's the pool set to close?
Tentatively, at this point, they're pushing to October 12th.
Oh, okay. Is that the longest it's
Ever, yeah.
ever been open for?
It typically closes the Saturday prior to school starting.
Okay.
And that's weather permitting and staffing. So please let that be, like, they're trying to test that they can operate until then, so.
Mayor, I'm happy to entertain a public hearing for that item only. And then bring everything else back, including that for future. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So move forward on August 12th simply for the pool pass.
Well, there's 3 of them.
Yeah, I was just,
Okay.
Mayor,
Sorry,
I
Mayor.
was just gonna say there was 3, there's 3.
If we can get the 4 fees that relate to the pool, it would be the entry into their themed pool parties, their individual season pass, which is a new fee they're proposing, and the family pass, and then the additional family add-ons to the family pass. If we can get those 4 to the August 12th public hearing, we would appreciate that as staff.
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan.
can I confirm the 4 things with you? You said the private pool party?
Themed pool parties, which is $4,
Sorry.
from $3 to $4.
Just the themed one
Yep,
only, not the one right above that.
yep.
Okay. Themed pool parties, individual season pool pass, family pass for 4 people, and then the each additional family member add-on.
Yes, that's correct.
That's fine. Yeah. Those. Yeah. Mayor, I'll make a motion to hold a public hearing on August 12th, 2025, at 5 o'clock for a new fee for themed pool parties by the Recreation Department, individual season passes for the pool, family passes for 4 people, and additional family member add-ons.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion?
Mayor,
Councilwoman Garvey?
did I hear you say individual season pass too, the 65?
Yeah, I said that one.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Second.
Okay. Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Harjo?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilwoman Workla?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Fine.
Okay.
Mayor, before we move on,
Yes, sir.
Tiffany, can we get a date set today for the council to have the time to maybe talk with you and other department heads about the rest of these, moving forward with the other half of my request?
Yeah, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Councilman Brennan, I will gladly look up the previous city council meeting minutes and share them with everybody and staff, and then we can set a date to either dialogue or bring it back at the next meeting.
Okay. Let's just get it on the next agenda, please.
Sure.
And then, if we're not ready yet, we table it again.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
Okay. We'll run down to new business. Action item number 2, deliberation decision regarding Hubble Homes' request for the city to take ownership of Silverstone Stormwater Pond after final plat has already been approved. Council, what do you want to do?
Mayor,
Councilwoman Garvey.
do they not have an HOA?
Yeah. Do we have HOA? No? No.
I don't want the city to take on another something to take care of. It costs us a lot of money. They're there for a purpose, but I think that coming forward with these new subdivisions, there needs to be sort of a provision in place going forward that they need to have a plan, whether it's their own HOA or their own little group or whatever, however, to take care of these, because they become our burden.
Go ahead, Tiff.
I would just like the record to reflect that this plat was approved far beyond the current staff's time. Like, it was dated back to 2016.
Yeah.
So that's,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, just so
yeah.
the record knows that you guys got the emails, we've dialogued back and forth on our opinion, which is very similar to yours, Councilwoman Garvey. Like,
Mayor,
Councilwoman.
I'm just saying going forward,
Yeah.
like, let's let's set the precedence up front, like, we're not taking on your little parks and your pocket parks and everything else because it's a burden to us.
Mayor,
Councilman Workla?
I spoke with Brenda today, and I don't see her here, right? She had a lot of insight on it. It sounded like it was an issue of where it was like on the construction plan to take it on, and then the preliminary plat, it wasn't reflected on there, and it wasn't reflected on the final plat. There were other areas that were, and I guess the question was is from this project management person, is that why would you take on those other ones and not this one? So I don't know if it was an oversight from 10 years ago or something like that. No, okay. Look at Paul. Because the questions I did have was, and I guess if the company, they're not here either to speak on this, right? They're not here to represent themselves?
Anybody here from Hubble?
Okay, because the questions I would ask, like, could they deed it to the city instead of making an amendment to the plat? Would that be an option? Like in my times, it's my grandma's house.
Have, like, Ozzy Osbourne or something, you know?
All right, were you done?
Well, no, I was just seeing like if there's like what I wanted to hear from the developer's perspective, like what happened, right? I mean, would they be willing to just give it over to the city, and then we can, and if they deed it over to the city, and then they provided a zero maintenance landscaping before they deed it over to the city, I mean, this could potentially be okay. Is it just all rock?
Which isn't zero maintenance, because we have to spray
Weeds.
And I saw that Chris Curtis did a courtesy spray too, right? And so, anyway, but if they're not even here to represent themselves, just talk to us so we can have that dialogue. I'll just go with what city staff recommend, and it sounds like with other council members.
Mayor, just to be clear, I didn't tell the gentleman with Hubble that he had to appear. I said it would come before the body. So I didn't invite him, if that's the question, but he does have an opportunity to attend a public meeting as well.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
can I give my 2 cents on it?
Sure.
I took offense to the email a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah,
'Cause
we're reading it
we
right
would have
now.
never voluntarily given up a buildable lot unless it was required to do so. Well, absolutely it was required to do so. I mean, the whole purpose behind a storm pond lot is to, if you have an open field, I realize that in a desert, like we are, this issue doesn't come up very much, but if you look at the rest of the United States, it most definitely matters. If you wish to be able to put a subdivision with all these different houses all over the place of what before that was just an empty field, when the rain comes down, I always equate it to having a glass of water and you wanting to have one rock at a time putting into that glass of water. What eventually happens after the 15th rock you put into that glass of water? It overflows. That's called no net loss. So if you want to be able to have cookie cutter houses all over the place, which then displaces the water into your neighbors, that water has to go somewhere, hence why it is not giving up a buildable lot. It is offsetting the impact that you're having to the community to be able to have all those cookie cutter subdivision. The water has to then basically I realize it's just rock that's out there. Well, that's because you're in a desert. But it most certainly matters when the flood does come, that the water will collect there and not go into everybody else's basements or crawl spaces or whatever. And so I kind of, the question is, I think it would be great, thank you for letting us build these 50 lots in this subdivision, and yeah, in order to offset that, we had to have this pond where the water can go, but we think everybody else should pay for it. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. This is the burden to the benefit of you being able to have 50 lots in your subdivision is you incur the burden of finding some place for that water to go.
Yep.
And so when I read this saying, well, we wouldn't have never voluntarily given up a buildable lot, I'm like, you most definitely wanted to in order to have 49 others. And so I read that and I just started chuckling. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And I took brass to even ask the question.
Councilman Brennan?
Paul stole my thunder on that one.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna read the email.
Every once in a while, I'm kind of.
I want to read the email for the public to hear this here because I'm kind of taken aback by it too by Benton over at Hubble Homes. I won't read every single sentence, but he says, this is written to Chris here. He says, I can understand the city's lack of motivation given your listed reasoning. That being said, I think there's some important factors to consider here as far as the practicality of that decision. This community does not have an HOA. That's not our problem. To which we could quit claim deed this lot and its associated maintenance. Is the intention of city staff to have Hubble Homes maintain this lot in perpetuity? What would be the plan in the event that Hubble Homes ceased to operate? They're a pretty big company. The city of Mountain Home took over ownership of other small drainage facilities in this development. It was a simple and not uncommon clerical error that kept this lot from belonging to the city upon recording of the plat. Moving on here. Overall, I see this becoming a situation where the city is constantly fielding angry homeowners' calls and subsequently chasing Hubble Homes around to take care of their weeds year after year. In my opinion, costs associated with that scenario outweigh the cost to have the city crew stop by to maintain this lot as they pass on their way to maintain the same type of facility 1 block away, the latter being more sustainable and in the best interest of the community members. Mayor, I make a motion to not allow the city to take on Hubble Homes plat, stormwater plat.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilwoman Garvey.
Aye.
Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
Councilwoman Perkla.
Aye.
Councilman Harjo.
Aye.
Okay. Run down to action item number 3. Action item deliberation decision regarding city council request to reconfigure the impact fee advisory committee and planning and zoning committees. Council.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Garvey, sorry.
I guess I just have kind of a clarification on the word of this. I didn't feel that it was the city council's request. It was just a conversation that was had.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of wanted to clarify that word.
Okay.
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan.
as I understand it, between the two committees, we're having a hard time finding a quorum for the meetings, right?
We just had one resign. What's his name? Marshall just resigned from Impact Fee.
Yeah. For that reason, like, if there were no other reasons, for that reason, if we can streamline the, I'm not sure what the right language is, streamline the two committees, basically have one committee of personnel that operate both of those advisory committees. So basically they're just one group doing double the duties.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Workla.
And then, so the impact fee committee, advisory committee is a volunteer position. P&Z is a paid position. So we would need a budget for bringing those individuals over, right? Is that what we're saying too? I feel like the impact fee committee does a lot of research, quite a bit of research on their own time, and I have no problem compensating them. So I'm in agreement with that, if that's the case, to bring them over as well to be compensated for their efforts.
We budget for the P&Z to, for all the members, right? So if we had a full body, it's already in there. So if we brought more people on there, we're golden.
Paul, I prefer to use, isn't there something in Idaho code that the P&Z members get paid, that they're, like, we don't send them a 1099 at the end of the year?
No, I don't think, I do not think that's statutory provision. It's 676504 and 676507 are the respective code provisions, but I am not aware of anything about a payment provision for P&Z commissions in there.
I had heard that before, but they're budgeted to have 2 meetings a month with a full board.
Okay. So,
Well, we just changed the P&Z to 1 meeting a month.
But they're budgeted
Correct.
for 2 a month.
So they have plenty of.
That was the question.
so Mayor.
You're good. Go ahead.
So, how many people can serve on P&Z? Was it 11?
What is it, up to, this is some of the driest stuff in Lupa. Let's see, I think it's somewhere up to 11, minimum of five.
Okay.
So 5 to 11.
So we would
And
be,
then-
so if we brought all of them over from the impact fee committee over to P and Z, we'd still be under that 11 number, right? I think, because
Yeah, we would be. I would have to make sure, the only other thing is that our code might provide a different number. I don't remember.
Mayor,
Council,
I thought it did.
Councilwoman Garvey?
I thought it did. I thought we changed it a while ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we changed it because of quorum issues.
yeah, and we could change it again. That's our code. But the only thing that I don't know off the top of my head, Jeff's a bigger nerd than I am, and probably would be able to know this, is there are certain qualifications to be in a P and Z commission, i.e. you have to have members in the certain business community and blah, blah, blah.
County
And then
money.
there's different ones, I believe, for impact fee committee. Some have to be within the area of impact, some not, and I just have to make sure that both of those wash.
okay.
I don't think it's a problem. I am aware of other cities that have dual P and Z commission / impact fee committee, and they're the same entity, but I'd have to just cross my T's on that.
Mayor,
Go ahead, Tiff.
city code reads, consists of not less than 5 or more than 11 appointed by the mayor and confirmed by the council.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Workla?
So I just want to make clear, we wouldn't be dissolving any committee, it's just combining the committees.
Correct.
It's a reconfiguration, so I want to make that clear. So if we're combining 2 jobs into one, I feel like they should get paid more than $60 a meeting. How would we be able to bring it to discussion for council to potentially increase their wages?
Amend the ordinance, please.
Did you wanna, should we make that a resolution instead of the ordinance? Is that possible?
Sure.
And then that's a, public hearing, new fee?
So we'd still have to change the ordinance. We'd have to
Right.
say the composition of the impact fee / planning and zoning commission meeting will be determined, but as provided by resolution. Compensated by resolution, blah, blah, blah.
You could do that too.
So we need to get that on the next agenda.
Yep,
Okay.
Mayor,
go ahead.
question for legal.
Okay.
In this reconfiguration, would the practical way of accomplishing this be through it, I guess, achieving it by reappointment of those individuals to the planning and zoning body by the mayor?
You mean the appointment of the impact fee folks?
Yes.
Yeah. The only other, this is easily done, there's just a lot of little, you'd have to set terms so that not everybody's expiring at the same, moment, so you'd have 2 and 3 and 4 and, terms, and you'd have to stunt it so that it would be recurring, not everybody at once kind of thing, but yeah, you would just appoint.
Yep.
We would create in our ordinance, which then directs it to a resolution, then have a resolution that sets the seats 1, 2, 3, blah, 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 and the terms of what they are beginning 2025 and, all that expiring this date. And yeah, it's a few hoops to jump through, but yes, that would be the way to do it.
Thank you. Quick follow-up question. We could, in theory, then approve a reconfiguration of the Impact Fee Advisory Committee and Planning and Zoning tonight, but then there would be follow-up actions on future agendas to appoint those individuals to Planning and Zoning and set those term dates, correct?
Correct, although to the extent that correct and not correct.
Okay.
To the extent that we're changing the ordinance, that's an action item, which I don't believe that's on our agenda today.
Right.
So it has to come back for the text of the ordinance to be changed. I realize the change to the ordinance is gonna be kicking it to a resolution of also which needs to be done. So your quote-unquote action item tonight is more like directing staff to prepare, basically, you can indirectly make the decision just so it gives these guys, you know, clarity on what they're doing. But the paperwork just has to follow it up, you know, 2 weeks from now.
Understood. Thank you.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Garvey?
And there's 2 state statute, Idaho codes in here that do specifically pertain. So the other thing, I think basically what needs to happen from here right now is just kind of compile the board together and figure out, you have to have a single member as an Elmer County resident living outside the city, outside the area of adopted impact, and then, I mean, there's...
It's Chinese stereo instructions.
Yeah.
It's kind of like...
Yeah, so, I mean, there's some of this we can't even change. We just have to abide by it because it's Idaho code.
Yeah, it takes a bit to read it.
Yeah, so, guess we'll get working on it.
Okay. And I know we gotta fix some stuff on our, what did Schroeder say? We have to fix something on our comp plan, right?
Yeah, there also corresponds an amendment to the comp plan when you're doing this stuff.
Okay.
Again, this is something I'll delegate to Jeff.
Okay. So I'll reach out to Schroeder tomorrow and we'll start the process pending council if that's what you guys want us to do.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Orkola?
I agree with that. However, last week we were supposed to hear from the committee themselves, the impact fee committee themselves. Are we going to be able to, I know that they did a lot of research, the chair's here tonight. I did get the report, thank you, looked it over. I would actually like to hear the presentation to the committee as a body. Is there a time and date that could get rescheduled for?
Council? Go ahead.
They don't have a quorum, so it'd be just the existing committee members now.
I just know there's been a lot of research that's done with that, and I would just be happy to hear what they found out.
Mayor, am I hearing right that with the recent resignation, that our impact fee advisory board cannot operate? They're missing one person. So they have 4 now on there. Is there any immediate need to just dissolve the committee until we get it placed, members placed onto the P&Z board?
I don't know.
If they can't function, I don't think we're gonna go and put more people on it if we have this intent behind us.
It just means they can't have any meetings right now. That's all.
It's a moot point.
Okay. All right, so they're non-functioning, and they can't speak as a group now anymore, right? Okay.
You guys make the motion saying that the P&Z Commission and Impact Fee Advisory Committee shall be one, and direct staff to present for the ordinance amendments and resolutions effecting same, and you guys are done. That's your action item.
Okay. Do I have a motion for that exact verbiage?
Mayor.
Councilman Brennan?
Paul, does that automatically make the members of both committees onto one?
Presuming they accepted. But yeah, I mean, no, like I said, the paperwork has to follow it, but what you're doing for Brennan and his 3 friends left is just saying, okay, you guys are now gonna be P&Z, should you accept this mission, Mr. Phelps?
If we bring them back to the council.
When the paperwork comes, you guys are giving your intent today that that's what you would like to see happen, and then in 2 weeks from now, it'll become official.
I don't wanna see that action without the paperwork first. I just assume that they hold tight in their roles now until we have the paperwork with the clear direction. Just me.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Garvey?
I guess I do kind of agree with that as well, because we don't want to dissolve the impact fee committee yet until we get all this figured out. We're going to be in the talks of it and see how well it's going to work, because like one of the Idaho state codes is, and I don't think this qualifies for any of the people on the impact committee currently, but they have to live in the city 2 years, and I mean there's just some things that I think you just need to probably just look over the people that sit on these committees right now.
There's a lot of hoops to jump.
Yeah, so I don't disagree with that. Kind of bring it back.
I guess what I'm asking is, if this is what you want to do, direct us to do it. If it isn't what you want to do, it would be awfully silly for us to go through the
Yes,
stereo instructions.
I agree.
If this isn't something we're going to do.
Okay. So I guess, what's the general feel of how we proceed, council? What do you guys want to do?
Mayor.
Councilman Harjo.
I would agree. I think directing staff to start the ball rolling on a combined planning and zoning and impact fee committee is my desire. Obviously creating the associated steps through ordinance change, resolution, for compensation and the other requested items.
Copy that. Is that a motion?
I will make that a motion.
Second.
Yes.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion?
Mayor.
Councilman Brennan?
Yeah, just in follow-up to that, the reason why I don't want to just automatically write all at once tonight with paperwork not yet before us, many reasons, but if the hoop jumping through process takes way longer than expected, then we have the ability to appoint one more person until all those other documents are signed and have them active again. So that's all, sorry.
Okay.
And Mayor,
Councilwoman Workla?
I did second that kind of early. Should we put a date to that? To come back to council in 2 weeks?
Doesn't matter, it has to be, it would have to be agendized anyway for the ordinance.
For ordinance change, we're gonna have to do public notice. There's a significant amount of work, so putting the date to it today, I don't necessarily would suit us well.
Okay.
I'll do my best to get it back to you as soon as possible.
You're
For
great.
example, I don't know, technically it's a LUPA ordinance, but I don't think it has the same public hearing requirements as like a LUPA land use application. But I have to read it. Again, that's the Chinese instructions. I probably read it 15 years ago.
Okay. It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilwoman Workla?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Harjo?
Aye.
Okay. All right, we're gonna run down to action item, new business, deliberations, oh, sorry. I got ahead of myself, went back. We're gonna go run down to number 4, new business, not action item. City Council budget work session, for golf, streets, and what was the other one? If, was that it? Just the golf and streets? Okay, so with that, council, I am going to suspend Robert's Rules of Order for new business. Action item number 4. So with that, Jake?
Well, Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
can I just, I have some notes, real quick. I'd like to, I apologize, I know fiber wasn't on there. Guys, I crunched these numbers again, and there's no salaries in here. Last year, the fiber budget for 2024-25, minus the CIP, was almost $500,000, and this year, the budget's saying it's only gonna be 328, and the revenues are 387. There's just no extra money in here in the revenues, or a transfer or something that's gonna make this balance. There's not any salaries in here. It cost us $500,000 last year to run fiber without the CIP. With the CIP, it was 709. And I'm okay bringing this back. Maybe it needs to be reworked because there's no salaries in here. The revenues and the balance, or the expenses balance, and it doesn't have any provision for salary.
Mayor?
Mm-hmm. Councilman Harjo, this is, remember, I suspended, so this, sorry. You good?
So I guess one of the questions here is, under the fiber optics budget, 5434, as we typically see, salary line for next year's budget requests are often abstracted out to other conversation and, you know, pending COLA and those kind of things. In terms of salary, reflecting back to last year, and this is probably more of a question for you, Mayor, there was some desire in previous years to separate out the salaries and allocate some portion of that salary to water and wastewater. Is that reflected here? Is that still the target?
So, Councilman, last year, my ask was to at least have one of them, since they do stuff with SCADA, or do something with Brandon, or do something with wastewater, or any study facility if something goes down, to at least have one of them being paid a little bit out of those departments, just to, like you take, like one of the ladies up front, they're paid out of water, wastewater, admin, just because they're doing something function in those departments. That was my ask last year.
Understood.
And this year, I didn't ask, just I had the feeling that maybe this body was not willing to do that, but that was I did bring it up.
The problem with what you just said is that your revenues are only $387,250. Your expenses are just about that. So you don't have any, so say water, for example. You can add your employees in there because you know how much your employees cost year over year. There's no provision, there's no extra money in your revenue to pay for this. So what's going to happen is just exactly what I said last year. It cost almost $500,000 to run fiber. Okay? Well, if we're only going to bring in, now that's $500,000 minus your CIP asks, okay? That's just your straight bottom line, bear the whatever budget. This year you're only asking for $387,000. So last year it cost us $500,000 to run the fiber department. This year it's only going to cost us $387,000. That's because there's no employees in it. We need to move the employees back over there, because what's going to happen again, same thing with the golf course, is next year, because the fiber optic department is not going to make enough money to sustain itself. And if you don't have a true budget, next year we're going to end up having to transfer, because you're going to go in the hole. Your revenues are only $387,000. Your expenses are almost the same amount. You don't have any employee costs in there.
On mine, I don't know what the cost is.
I-
Paula, can you help me? I don't know.
It's fine. I can bring this back. I'd be happy to sit down with you, Paula, tomorrow, and go over this. But I'm telling you, there's no employee salaries in this fiber budget. And unless I'm missing something like blazingly evident, there's some money left over for some fringe, but there's not money left over for 3 salaries. So, okay. I can bring that back, and I will email you, Paula, and we can have a meeting about that. I just wanted to bring that back up because it's just not accurate.
Okay.
Okay?
Is that,
Thanks. Yep.
Paul, I know you're kinda, is that true? Like, is there no salaries in there?
Those numbers in front of me, I don't know what she's looking at. Chris and I are trying to figure it out.
I mean, do you,
I don't shoot from the hip, and I would have to look at it.
do you know if you budgeted salaries into that department?
Yes, salaries are budgeted into that thing.
They are.
3.
What line item are they in?
Well, they would be at the top, so it's in the current budget, so it would just increase by 5%.
So let's email the council tomorrow on all that, please.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Do you want to do streets or golf first, council? Streets.
So can I just have a favor? Can we move golf and then do streets? Is everybody okay with that?
Golf.
Okay. Sorry,
Let's do
guys.
golf.
I do have one more question before we move on from fiber. Last week it was made very clear, that 1.5 million for LAD 2 can only be used for anything fiber related, new builds, city fiber, or LAD 2. I had a citizen reach out to me and say, don't you remember that it was stated a while ago that because this is ARPA money, this can be used for anything in the enterprise fund, such as water, wastewater, fiber. Can someone please clarify that?
You wanna take that one, or do you?
We put a call into our auditors, and he sent us an example of the proposed expenses, but we will need to review the purpose of the bonds that are being issued and see what it says.
So, the ARPA funds, from what we were told, so it's gonna be more clarification, so I'm not gonna give you an exact answer. So, we asked the auditors, could this money be used? So it depends on what the bond is allocated at. So the ARPA funds, you had to have them spent by, or allocated by 24, spent by 25, I do believe. And so we allocated half or more than half to water for the match for the grant, for the well 17. And then they allocated the 1.2 for the first LID. So when we go out to the bonding authority, so when we get our money back, how they designate that to come back? Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. Am I correct?
That's my understanding as well, that the designation in the bond paperwork defines which budget that funding can go back to.
So until we get that dialed in, we'll know more. So I'm not gonna say it can't. So
And we put that in reserve,
In
correct?
reserve,
So
yes.
then we'll get
yeah.
I understand that.
Okay. Golf? Jake, come on down, brother.
I buried it, I apologize.
Took my hat off, so it kind of blind his camera a little bit.
Reflects.
I like the toothpick person.
Yeah.
So Jake, where we left off in previous conversations, the pump and associated hardware and work are the big things that we need to achieve this year. You've given us a list of the capital outlay in 9900 and 9920 about some of those pieces of equipment that you're willing to push off to future years to achieve those things. Earlier we discussed the cost of the pump, the cost of the well sump concrete work, and an estimate of what a building would need to be based on some of Hank's feedback. Maybe it wasn't Hank. I can't remember who you mentioned.
For the metal building?
For the metal
floodway?
building.
Yeah.
Because it exists in a floodway, it has to be of a certain construction type, have certain features.
Yep.
That would roughly run with construction and all those things around 20,000
For the building?
for the building.
I mean, probably, I guess. I mean, I don't have those numbers because I don't know the exact building, but I know like the range building was about 9,000 and then 4,000 or a little over 4,000 to build that building.
Okay.
So
The pump, inclusive of all of the secondary work or the primary work that needs to happen in order to achieve that thing, the concrete well sump and that kind of stuff, what was the total price on that?
So the pump's 200, and then just over the weekend I was kind of guessing at 30 grand, but talking to the pump guy and the guys that build not the pump guy, but the guy that builds wet wells that I know of, he was thinking 30 to 50, but they won't know. They don't know right off, until they have to get on site and look at it and stuff.
30 to 50 for the.
In addition?
For the wet well.
In addition to the pump machinery itself.
So that would bring an additional.
We're at 250 right now.
So that would bring, if it was 30 on the low end, that would bring that transfer from 522 to 552. Is that what we're talking about?
No.
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 Oh, sorry.
So what Jake had presented before was foregoing a bunch of the capital outlay in equipment inventory, the utility vehicle, mowers, aerators, clubhouse siding, those kind of things, and the collar mower, future echo robots, and that kind of stuff on here, while maintaining the fairway and greens mower, if possible, to offset that cost.
And so my question, so I remember that conversation, and then my question was last week on that was, then what would the transfer be then? And it was, well, those are just pretty much you're trading in the mowers and all that for the pump. So then I wanted an exact number or a close to number. What would that be for the transfer from admin budget?
Okay, so real quick, I'll just try and, so if he took out everything, we're still going to be approximately the 522.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Right. But then they're talking about adding the shed, like the cover.
We're at 250 right now. Yeah, so we're almost.
So even with the shed, you're at 522?
No, it'll be a little bit more.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but like $20,000 or, I just said 30 for best numbers, so.
So 552.
And then, forgive me, we've discussed a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I left my
Was the hood,
budget stuff.
was the hood in that? And how much was that again?
The hood was left, cause that took
Okay,
the-
that was left. Okay, good.
If I remember right from last week, the restaurant equipment, that is at 10 grand, if I
Okay,
remember right.
and that'll cover the hood.
That
Yes,
would cover
that
it.
would
Okay,
cover
so
it.
that's
I
good.
think, we hope, right? That was, I think
and-
Brian is looking.
Okay,
at
I
this
think
list
that
looking at
needs to be
those
left
'cause of
in
the
there
fire
because it's a
stuff.
compliance issue.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And as well, leaving 3850, the restaurant repairs line at
Yes.
20 to achieve.
Yes.
The-
So then we'll end up doing a little bit of an excess transfer.
I asked for the siding to stay too. I thought that was kind of agreed upon.
Oh, you were right, yes.
So I'm of the opinion at this point, strictly my opinion, we're already got our shock and awe over. Let's fix this place up. Let's let's get you the money that you need. I'm ready to say let's give some finite numbers on the building, so that going forward, this is not gonna continue to just. And the other thing is, I was there over the weekend, and we need new chairs in a very bad way. Those chairs,
For the restaurant?
yes, they are a liability. And I have a video of a person sitting on the chair, and they're just, it's not even off level. It is literally like rocking.
Yeah, they're not good.
And so, while we're at it, I think it's a liability to the city that we don't fix some of these things. If we did not ask our restaurateur to provide chairs, we provided them. So I feel like that makes us, the landlord that needs to fix it.
Yeah, last time we got those, that was, so Brandy gave us the ones that she wanted, and then Tiffany and I just ordered them for her. So, but yeah, that was before
Yeah,
Jared.
I just think we need to just bite the bullet this year.
But,
The hood's,
it's open.
yeah,
It's habit.
I know, I appreciate it.
the hood's a little complex in the fact that it's just kind of what situation we're in today is where it's kind of all been piecemealed and mosh posh. What we really need to do is decide what type of flat top and deep fat fryers and stove range we want within the space, and then they customize the hood with that space. Unfortunately, right now, it's like we bought a 6-burner stove top and we bought 2 deep fat fryers, and it all exceeds out of the hood, right? It's kind of, in the things I've been told, that's how it should be done, is kind of a package deal plan for it, and this is what goes on. So it may be well over that amount, but I certainly will get with Jared and we'll get some finite numbers for you, and at least make those steps in the right direction.
Jake, can I just confirm, for the 2-pump system, it's only one building we're talking about, not one for each pump, right?
No, it's just kind of like that picture. It's pretty much the exact same as that picture, so it's all right there, and then that building would be over all of it.
And I've got a question. Maybe it's tough. Maybe it's easy for you. I want you to shoot me straight here. The council sounds like prepared to just blow your entire capital outlay requests out, and all of a sudden do a 180 for pumps. The pumps weren't identified on your.
They weren't identified on it, and the reason, I mean, it's just a big ticket item, right? And so like I always look at stuff to where, like when I first started, I have a bunch, and like you've seen some of that equipment out there, I had a bunch of failing old equipment, and so I started doing that and trying to get that stuff caught up, and then just the big ticket item of a pump, it's kind of hard for me to, like when you got stuff in the streets or other things in the city that are more important, you know, for some people or whatever, it makes it hard for me. Like, right, you need streets to have a city,
get to the golf
you
course.
know. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's been needed for, you know, more than 2 years. It's been needed for a long time.
Right. So we're asking you to make a decision, one more important than the other. And it sounds like we're all in agreement that keeping the grass alive is more important than replacing your mowers. But can you successfully get by without falling way behind on a replacement schedule without all of that equipment this year?
Yeah, I think so. Just because the last couple years we've been upgrading my mowers, so I
You're
think.
getting 2 more, aren't you? The robots?
Yes, well, yeah, and I'm still waiting on those robots from last year, so that'll help. But if we leave, like I said, the fairway mower and the greens mower that we have right now, they're coming off lease at the end of this year. If we just keep those back, and we should be fine.
Okay.
Well, and remember too, that this is only for 1 year. This is
Yeah.
1 year to get your big ticket stuff done, and then next year you can go back through and really crunch your numbers on your equipment again.
Yeah.
Paula, can you provide the current balance for the contingency fund of the operating budget we're in now, 24-25?
I don't have it in front of me, have it in my budget books.
What is it?
I'm looking right now.
Was it like 300 and change, or?
It's probably on your city
It's
hall.
not on our treasurer's report. That's interesting.
No, it wouldn't be there.
So you're saying spend the contingency right now to fix it?
Well, that's my thought is going. Like, if we hadn't, I know we haven't earmarked any of that money for anything in our current contingency fund.
Right.
If we just replace if we
It's on your budget sheet, very
Which-
bottom of page.
for like the current balance of where it sits.
In admin?
Oh, I see right here. 297 was. Oh no. Revenues. You get the right one. It's blank in our budget book.
Well, because that's 25-26, you asked me for 24-25.
So
So we currently have 297.
You have 297, 873.
They have 873. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Could we? Didn't we add more to that when like some kind of like tax payment came in or something last year?
Mhm.
So there's more than what we put in there.
Probably just need to look in your budget book. That would be the current.
I mean, she's looking right
It
there,
says
but
297 right here. That's all it
That's it.
says.
That's what you got. Is that your budget book or is that your?
Oh, my budget book. I see what you're saying. Hang on. I gotta dig it out.
put more in the contingency after the budget.
Sure. You could probably find it a lot quicker than me.
It was,
Thanks.
it was another,
Yeah, we got like
We just
another
added
tranche of
money.
money, yeah.
Yeah, and then we had Idaho Power money.
297, 873, which matches your
Mhm.
spreadsheet.
So it was, we usually do like 100,000,
But
and then
we've
the
spent
extra was
money
the
out of it.
197,873.
Did you spend money on a contingency? I don't remember.
Yeah,
that.
for the golf course driving range.
That was the previous year. We haven't done anything this year out of contingency.
Okay. My apologies.
Well, I guess the thought I'm having is, if we haven't earmarked any money and we have the money, you know, we're in almost August, so we only have 2 more months of the budget left. If we just spend the money on the pumps, I'm not doubling down, so don't take this the wrong way. Buy the pumps, keep off all the capital outlay stuff. The transfer will be dang near what it was last year. We won't double the size of the transfer. And next year, the 26-27 budget, you ask for your capital outlay items.
Because where I stand, I won't approve, and nothing, you know me, we've already talked about it. I won't approve that amount of transfer coming over, in addition to, it sounds like it'll be more than what's actually reflected here, right? So additional 30, and then the siding and stuff, so, yeah.
I think that's a great use of contingency funds because I mean, we're reinvesting our money back into our property that we already own that needs fixing. And because we cannot let our property decline further.
Well, and there's no way, Jake, you are staying sometimes overnight or until 1 in the morning?
Yeah.
That cannot happen.
Sometimes I'm coming at 1 in the morning.
No, Jake,
and staying.
no, that can't happen,
That's
so.
happened every year since I've been here.
Yeah.
For
How often?
13 years. Probably like, I just shooting off maybe 5 times a year.
Yeah,
Summer.
not cool.
Yeah.
I don't.
So what I'm
Okay.
hearing then is
Let me do
to
some
do the
math
pumps
here.
with contingency and the hood?
No,
Just
the
the
house, the house.
The hood's already in the
the
budget.
side.
Right, but I thought you might wanna
Oh,
not have that in the,
Well, I don't think we have
transfers.
enough.
yeah, it was what I'm not even calling it a request yet. My thought was the same items that we identified to take off for the pump. We keep those items off. Everything we kind of, sort of, semi-agreed to keep on the budget,
Which was the siding,
the siding, the
hood.
kitchen maintenance stuff,
Restaurant equipment.
we keep that stuff. So whatever we essentially agreed to get rid of 4 pumps, we keep them gone off the budget, and we buy the pumps in the pump house.
Can I ask
on contingency?
for chairs too, because I was out there with Paula
They're bad.
for lunch and they're rocking hard.
Yes.
So if we-
on that note,
So
Shasta
I was just
texted.
doing some texting here really quick, or texting
Shasta
some
just
numbers.
texted and said to bridge the gap in the moment, they have some excess stackable chairs that they can bring, that they can loan to the golf course for the time being. So we reduce a little bit of liability. I know like the bar height ones are still
Yeah,
pretty
those are-
rickety
yeah.
to get by and reduce some of our risk. But to have those replaced, I do believe the commentary has been spot on. It is a liability.
So Paula, so the 2 for the contingency is 2 from last year, 297, we think it's around there, but then you also said that the budget had been balanced and we can transfer 210, that's in addition to, right? So it'd be the 297 plus the 210?
So we'd spend the contingency right now, right? Is what I'm hearing from the council.
If this is our contingency last year, but then you said that we were able to put additional, was it 210,000 into contingency?
With the wall through. Oh, that's the, so you can't take, are you asking if you take the 297 and add it?
Yeah, mhm.
No, it doesn't go that way.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
So the action of replacing the pump could exist in this current year's budget, utilizing contingency to get moving on it now.
Because once our budget rolls over, that contingency goes back into general funds again.
Right,
Yes.
and then in the 25-26 budget that we're deliberating, we'll keep the restaurant equipment and clubhouse siding out of 9,900 and 9,920. Forego all other capital outlay for this year, and an overall reduction to the transfer while still achieving the pumps. Is that the
Not
understanding?
really a reduction to the
Well,
transfer, but just keeping it similar to last year.
Similar, yes.
I think it'll be about 300, maybe a little bit less once the salaries are increased.
Which is still an actualization
Yes.
of
A lot
less
of money.
transfer out of admin.
It would be a reduction in the transfer.
It's a reduction from how it's penciled now, but not from how it actually is, or how it was in the last year.
Right.
Does that work? Does that?
Yeah, the
help?
pump, so
Okay.
the the pump is like if you guys signed it today, 6 months out, so yeah, that would work.
'Cause the one thing that kind of stuck in my mind from last week was exactly what you said, is, you know, if we don't do these things or we don't give him anything, then something major is going to break down. It's going to have to come out of contingency anyway. So, I think as long as you're okay with what you have,
Yeah.
can get through.
I'll make it work for sure, because that would be a lot less stressful on me than the way it is now.
So correct me if I'm wrong, like, I'm all ears, but I thought if you were gonna spend it in this fiscal budget, it had to be started in this fiscal budget. You can't.
Yes, yeah.
So if Jake goes and says, hey, pump guy, I want you to do my stuff, and he is okay, so Jake's still gotta go out and get 3 bids. You know what I mean? And then he picks a guy with council approval. That's that process. So then what if he doesn't start by October 1st, or September 30th?
You're into next year.
Then it's carryover.
Yeah.
It's not.
So when you say start, like what could be start? Could groundwork be starting?
That's
Like could
Paul,
we be
like,
out
so we
there?
don't get in trouble.
What's the question?
What is, in terms of starting a
I'm
job
still awake. I consider that great. We're doing budget.
for money from fiscal year to fiscal year?
Yes.
What is the start? What is considered the start of a job? If we hire a pump guy in August, but he doesn't physically put a shovel in the ground until November, is that 25 budget or is that 26 budget?
Well, generally, you know, of course, budget itself is October 1.
Yeah.
However, it doesn't, that's just
We carried
the
over.
money side of it all.
Yeah.
But it could be split into, you know, multiple years. So it's,
Okay.
that's just you pick the money
It
for
looks just
October
like
1.
this. See this?
It
right
doesn't
here?
have to correspond to
That's his
a
mowers that we
person's
haven't bought
salary
yet.
or contract.
We still have to account for that money.
So,
Consider that a Paula question. It's just saying.
Oh, gosh, I don't know anything, go ahead.
but I was always told that if I started a project, or the city started a project, then if you started it and you wrote the check on, let's say, August 30th, and they didn't complete the project till, let's say, end of October, then that was a
Still
no-no.
the prior year.
Okay.
That would mean for like the.
So he could start his project with the shovel in the ground and get that whole site pad, all that done, and that's good, Paula?
If the invoice comes in and it's dated October 1st, the auditors will not backdate it to September. So if the invoice says October 1st, you're in the next cycle.
Okay.
But the money's already been allocated, sitting there ready.
It doesn't,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter in allocation. Like, we have to have, and to be
Projects don't go 2 months.
No, but
I trust the auditors, but I would be an
Here's-
allocation person.
here's
Yeah.
the swimming.
That's where
Here's a swimming pool. It's your last big project you had. We had to declare every purchase within each budget year to then clear out your financial statements at the end of the year to know what was budgeted and allocated appropriately. So yes, it carried over several budget cycles. However, you take a little project like this pump, I guarantee is gonna have a deposit that we have to pay up front.
It does,
Probably
it's-
50%. So that's $100,000 gone. But if we don't get the pump for 6 months, the last $100,000 payment isn't gonna happen until you have it on site, which will be probably January or February, and that is in your next budget year, regardless of its allocation. It has to fund out of funds within that budget cycle.
Which we will have because we're going to carry over that extra money.
If the carryover's been declared already,
We will declare it.
Because the carryover is contingency.
Yeah, and so the question earlier was, does that fund build?
So, and I understand exactly what Paula's saying.
Right,
So, I'm tracking what she's saying, because we only have 2 months left. Contingency doesn't just roll over, so it doesn't go 290, whatever we had, plus what we just allocated. So we're not gonna have 400 or $500,000 in there.
Right.
I understand that. So the trick is, and maybe we just need to ask the auditors, can we move it out of general funds, put it in a new GL for a pump, and carry it over in the golf course? Just move it all out of GL, out of the contingency.
That would be just a transfer memo
Okay.
request that comes back to you
Sounds
guys
pretty
to
easy.
be prepared for for the next council meeting, and if whatever you wanna allocate to move into the funds would be on that memo.
And that would be okay with your auditors.
It would be in the golf course funds then.
Boom, we're done.
So then does that money not, if not spent by September 30th, immediately available to us October 1st?
Does that put it over its levy?
Which one?
Would it impact golf fund already?
No, golf doesn't have.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, golf's not levied.
Yeah.
Golf's from general funds.
So ask your question again, please.
So if we do it, Councilwoman Garvey's saying we just do a transfer over to the golf course, and we can't actually spend that money before September 30th. Is that money building in the next budget and immediately available to us?
In the golf course.
In the golf
Yes.
course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Where does
We just
where
can't
does it
keep
go
it
in
in
contingency when it's
contingency.
not spent? If it doesn't,
If it doesn't build?
if it doesn't build up?
So it's just tracked on expected expenditures in 24-25. So if you're not expected to expend any of it, it just goes back into all of the money that's carried over, so it's part of the big bucket.
It just
And
goes into
you-
the general
Yeah,
the big
and then
general
people
fund.
can draw from that as they build their budget.
Okay. All right. Man, sorry, I'm holding on to this page. for just a sec.
You're totally fine. You could take my budget book. Go ahead.
No. Jake, so a couple more comments that I won't get to make further comments next year. But if I were here next year and we move forward with kind of this decision here, I would say that the amount of your transfer next year, or the growth of the transfer amount, depends on the amount of income that comes in on the golf course. Now, you're not necessarily in control of that. You're not actually out there selling the stuff and doing that, but you sell more, you get more stuff to buy, like mower-wise, and I think it might be something for others to think about instead of just open-ended transfers. But I think we can figure this out.
Jake, with that, what he just said, would you be willing to come in quarterly with a report to council?
Yeah.
Even if it's in an email or something, and just because this makes me really nervous.
When you say a report, like what's
Well,
going on at the
for the
golf course?
revenue versus expense, right, balance, because these are projected revenue numbers. And with us, it's kind of in infancy stages because of the restructuring of everything, right? that the
Yeah, I
golf
mean,
course has
I-
gone through. I just feel like I don't want to be in this predicament again. I'm this close to not approving the budget this year just based off of the golf course, just because it's so much. So I was just wondering if you would be willing to come in and as a body report somehow, in person or email, where we're at every 3 months, quarterly, revenue versus expense. Just
I mean, I would say yeah, but I would just have to get that information from Paula.
okay. I mean, that would just be my request, so we're not like all of a sudden have the shock and awe all the time. And I'm almost scared it's gonna be worse next year. I don't know. I mean, again, these are projected revenues. Your data is based off history, but then what we're in this year it's a first year, right? So what history do we really have to go off of? So.
I have an additional question for the council on the transfer. When it transfers, do you want the description to say build pump? I mean, are you tracking it that way?
Yeah, pump and pump house.
You want it
Pump house.
Expense and revenue, so he'll have an expense line, so you could say, okay, this is all that we use for the pump, and then a revenue line that just, is that how you'd like to see it?
So we receive the revenue on the monthly, or on the quarterly treasurer's report now.
Oh, I just meant the transfer, I just meant for that.
Okay, so for that is
Just for that project.
understood.
Can I just throw my 2 cents in on your question? I think the 3 should be separated out. The pump house, the pump,
The wet well.
and the wet well, because if one, then you can track them all very precisely. What if the pump house came in cheaper than 30? Then there's gonna be leftover money. So then that way it's not just this big pot of money.
Jake, you gonna work on that, right?
Sure. Most
And
definitely.
a follow-up question to that, if we, magically come under the expected expenditure. And that funding is sitting in a GL allocated to golf. We've transferred out of contingency to golf, and we don't spend it all. What happens next?
Sits in the golf fund, and it's part of this cash carryover into 26, 27.
Yeah, I would say we don't touch it. That's what I would say.
Which then hopefully will reduce any transfer that you have in 26, 27. Because you had,
So it's permanently allocated to golf and cannot,
no, you can
through
transfer
any
it back.
action, transfer back to
Yeah,
contingents?
issue a memo and transfer it back. If
Okay.
That's the intent.
Like the
Understood.
unspent amount.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, understood.
Mayor, Tiffany, are there anything that you've kind of identified to amongst yourselves, maybe in the ELT, that for contingency money this year that you haven't told us about yet? So, do you see any issues with that?
Whatever this council wants to do. Support you 100%.
I guess the question, is there an emergency that we think might happen in July,
2 months.
August, September?
Not that we are, no.
Okay.
That's the question.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Any unplanned expenses, like as far as the fire department budget, right, like we've kinda, I don't know, earmarked some dollars for, land acquisition. So, I mean, I'm kinda thinking like if we have unspent money and it's the last week of September to do a transfer towards that build fund or purchase fund for land acquisition for the fire department. That's probably a whole nother conversation for another day, but,
So so if the fire department has extra money left over, you're saying to transfer that into the build fund?
if the contingency fund has extra money
Oh.
at the last week of the year, to transfer that to a line for,
It will have about $47,000 left over.
But I
if the
thought
numbers are accurate.
we do the cash carry, we have to do the projection, so we just can't do it like the last week, cause don't you have to publish all your stuff? And so we can't, that's one of the bummers is, yeah.
oh, how much advance, like, notice is required to be able to do that? Like, we're doing the same thing now with the golf.
Essentially,
We
not
have
to
some.
cut you off, but so it's gonna go, although you're earmarking it, but it's gonna go back into general funds, which again, they can ask for it again next year. They can ask for that additional money for a build fund. So it's kind of, I don't know, kind of a wash.
Yeah, but everybody else can ask for it too, if we forget
Well,
about it.
yeah.
If we forget about it,
We
then.
won't be here, so.
That's not the point.
I'm just saying.
I think the department heads will remember that conversation, so, look at, they're all like, mm-hmm, yeah.
Fire chief, I'm trying to get you some more money. Nobody else.
I appreciate it.
You right now. Remember that, department heads. I'm just kidding. Okay.
So, council, is that what you're wanting to do then, for the golf?
The seemingly the wisest option in front of us.
Okay.
Yes.
So I have a couple questions. So with this going through, like just start right away with the process, bring you guys, get the 3 quotes, all that stuff, and just start going through it?
So what I would do is I'd go out, solicit 3 quotes, bring them to the council. It's over, I don't have my purchase, you got, it's more than that, we're gonna have to list that in the paper, we're gonna have to publish, yeah, sorry.
So.
It's gonna take a little bit.
So the earlier we can start.
What about like the wet
Yeah, I've
well
got it right
stuff? So,
the entirety of the project.
It's, yeah, you can't break the project up to, you know what I mean?
So we have to add everything of what we anticipated to cost, and if it's
Specs.
Yeah, it's that purchasing policy, construction or project.
yeah, but they're like,
Are they,
they're separate in a way, right?
so that's my question. So is the pump and the
So
electrical and all that all just by itself?
Yeah, that guy's not gonna be doing anything with the wet well. That'll be a totally different.
So you're gonna have to get 3 bids for that project. You're gonna have to get 3 bids for the other project, I'm assuming that, well, no, cause the building is with that
It's
project.
not 3, it's sealed bids.
Yeah, sealed now.
It's all right here, guys. I got it right here.
Yeah, you're gonna do a
Here,
sealed bid.
read that. That's what he's gonna.
So
or
whoever
Jake
the
can read.
awardee is gonna get is gonna sub those out to somebody, but it's
Correct.
under one heading.
Okay, gotcha.
He's gonna have to do a sealed bid,
Yep.
your pump guy, because I'm sure there's a ton of pump guys sitting around waiting to come to Mountain Home.
Yeah. Anything over 200,000 seal bid.
Okay.
In budget, department approval, mayor authorization, city review, council approval before and after the bid. So you're gonna have to do I guess an RF.
So the next agenda will have permission to go out to seek sealed bids. If the estimate, and I haven't, I'd like to say I have that memorized, but they all change.
Yeah.
And so then we'll get permission from these guys, then we'll go out and seek it for its time duration, usually it's 10 to 15 days. Then we'll bring it back to them for final approval to move forward, and then you come buy it.
Okay.
So, Jake, your project or your equipment, 5 to 5,000, you'll have to get at least 2 quotes. And then it's in your budget. If you wanna see this, it'll make it easier to see this for you.
I think I actually have one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, council, so we're good with golf in that direction?
What was the total on the transfer memo? 250?
Oh, yeah, would you guys want to take out a contingency for the golf course?
I'd like to see final numbers, closer numbers.
Yeah, so I mean, the pump with that guy, that would be 200, and then I can reach out to some wet well guys and have them give me a quote. That way you haven't, and then we can look into the building. Cause it'd be nice to know exactly, so we don't do it under.
So, are you going to get the first?
Yeah, so we know that,
Go out for the next one?
yeah, so I already got him the 200 for the pump, and then I'll get the wet well, and, I know for sure I can get you the wet well, I know that for sure, and then I'll start looking for metal buildings and get that too.
And then we can just attach that to the transfer memo, so you guys can have a ballpark figure. Will that work?
I could probably get the wet well tomorrow, so.
And we're all in agreement on what comes out of capital outlay?
Yeah, with the 2 remaining were the restaurant and the clubhouse siding
Stays.
staying,
Yeah.
yes.
So HVAC is, no?
Our discussion on that before didn't really encompass, I think that was one that was identified that could come out, but does that need to stay?
I think that was,
Okay, I'm gonna offer one other little thing. I got a tour of the restaurant, and I will give a plug. They have really stepped up their game. It is so clean and really organized and put together. But the first thing I noticed the second I got back there is it is hotter than heck back there. So
Is that a target for where this HVAC line would
it
be
is.
allocated?
It was hot.
I believe this is the one that the mayor was talking about putting in on the bar side, right?
Yeah.
They
So-
need something.
Yeah, it is hot back there,
It's-
and
yeah,
they are
it's
doing a really
brutal.
good job with keeping it clean, cleanest I've ever seen it, so.
Yeah.
So this would achieve HVAC in the restaurant,
Well, what she's talking about is
Kitchen
it would be
space.
in the kitchen
It'd be in
space,
the
it wouldn't
kitchen.
do anything else, just the kitchen.
And eventually the whole building, since it's not sealed room.
The kitchen is.
but that was the intent for this one, the HVAC interior repairs at 7,500
All doors.
Yeah, that was what was for the
Was for-
HVAC for the bar area.
for the bar area, not the kitchen area. Okay.
I think if HVAC is gonna be put in, it needs to be put in the kitchen.
Is that mini splits? Is that reconditioning what we have, replacement to new?
Yeah, I don't think the air right now, talking to Jim Sexauer, like, there's no way to, like, the system that we have out there right now, it's not gonna do anything, it doesn't do anything for the kitchen.
I think you have one vent in the roof and that's
Yeah,
it.
there's one vent, yeah.
So the mini split would be, if that's the road, that's what we were going to put in the bar, right?
Mhm.
For heat and air.
Yeah, but it does kind of make more sense to put it with the kitchen just for those guys. It is hot back there. I mean, even when I walk back there, just to like walk back there, I like start dripping in sweat. So
if a mini split is put in for the kitchen area, plug the one that's in the kitchen more volumetric out to the restaurant and bar space.
Yeah.
Does that accomplish what your need is?
I would think so, but yeah, have to have someone come out and look and see for sure.
Okay.
I also had that he was keeping equipment inventory. So keeping that. So what I had, what, that was leaving was
I thought we'd scratch
utility
that.
vehicle, driving range, Procore aerator, mechanical storage facility. Those were the things that I had checked off.
We're going off this, right? So,
Yeah. Jake
It's-
gave us.
I
You
don't
identified
see-
already for that to
Yeah,
go.
What's that?
You identified already for that line to
Yeah, we changed that up a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, it's,
I mean, I'm fine with that for this year.
To scratch equipment
I
inventory?
think I did mention it though.
Okay.
So it's taking out UV, driving range, aerator. This has clubhouse siding, but we added it back in. The mechanic equipment storage, Echo, Fairway, and T-Motor. That's what you had on this one.
Yeah, and I think when after I brought that, that day, I'm pretty sure I said equipment inventory could come out just to try to, I was just trying to get.
Right,
more
yeah,
money
you
for it.
added that. That's right, you did. And my apologies. Yep.
So you
Okay.
had Echo, Fairway, and
Here,
T-Mobile?
you can have that, Paula. You're welcome.
Greens mower,
Greens mower?
yeah, greens mower, Echo, Fairway, T-mower.
Which one's the air conditioning HVAC
The only one that would be
Right here.
staying would be that one, the two that are on lease right now.
Only do one machine, that might
Just
be.
have that reoccurring lease.
Yeah, no.
Wasn't that identified to come out?
Yeah, but we just added it back in.
Yeah, but it's just getting bigger and bigger.
Well, it's freaking haze in there. It's awful.
I'm no HVAC technician by any means, but when the kitchen's not sealed up, like you might feel cold air blowing directly on you for a second, but it's not going to change the ambient temperature of the room unless you do the whole facility. Since there's so many open door hallway type things, like the air's just going to flow.
Maybe we can get a
One to the other.
clarification on that from your guy.
Someone.
Yeah.
That leaves the greens mower. So are you leaving the greens mower or are you taking it out? That's not listed.
The,
Just taking
the
it
one
out.
that's staying here, I checked them all.
You're taking it out.
Yeah, not the one is with the Fairway mower lease, so.
You wait another year for AC. Like I feel like I made a pretty big give there, and now it's 10 more thousand. You know, a little more. Like
I'm good with whatever you guys, I mean, I
I'm
will-
kind of done giving money.
I will second on what Becky's saying, it is hot in there, but I mean, you guys make the decision and I'm fine with whatever you.
Ultimately, like the restaurant contractor got a tour of what the restaurant was, right, and accepted it. And I'm not saying like we keep it bad forever, but if it's hot, maybe they get one more year. Maybe they invest a little bit into the air conditioner. But it was just kind of one more thing that keeps stacking up.
What if we had extra money out of our 250? Because that is plausible.
Are you gonna put the chairs in here?
And we don't have the chairs in here yet either.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna say that.
So should we get those quotes and see then?
We can bring it back.
I don't know, I'm just,
I think it would be fair to get those estimates
Yeah.
in front of us.
yeah, so I just need to get the well and then, a building. And
And
Wet
if you
well,
could get the
I don't know
building.
about the chair, I probably should stay
Chairs.
away from the chairs, cause I don't want that coming back on me. I mean, every time we bought chairs, I have never picked them, but for some reason, everybody thinks I picked them. So,
Well, let's
there-
not.
and they-
I'm good.
This-
I'm with Jake. Like, make it a community. Everyone have a seat because
yeah,
Okay.
like it like.
Well,
encourage
I-
everyone in the room to go test the.
I
chairs.
agree with Decker to get together a golf court again. So maybe that's if that's okay, then we.
I'm fine, like, I'm totally fine with the golf board. The only issues I have with golf board is you have people, like golfers are very opinionated and they don't know
Don't get golfers
anything
then.
about golf. They just know about playing golf. They don't know anything about maintaining the golf course.
Okay.
So their priorities
I'll look
versus
at
what
restaurant
real
chairs.
priority is.
I will look at
yeah, I'll
restaurant
look at chairs with
Oh
you.
my god. Okay, I got this. I can do that.
I have no idea
I got
providing a
this.
suggestion. I just mean like
No, it's fine. I'll
And
I'll look at restaurant stores.
learning from what we did, I think we need to put our bottoms in them before we order hundreds
Yes.
of them. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because definitely the picture was a good sales pitch.
And a comparative, when Shasta was looking at changing over the fleet of chairs at the library, they brought that company that she was contracting with brought a bunch of samples to try out, sit in for a period of time. So that is an option as well.
Can we wait on the air conditioning this year? You guys wanna? That's the one thing we haven't decided. I don't think, right?
I want numbers. This is a lot, right? So let's just look
I
at
think if
numbers.
we're gonna bite the budget, we might as well just bite it now.
I don't like that.
Well, guys.
It wasn't on the list of things he was removing, so you should still be within range of your mental picture.
Yeah, it wasn't, it was still on there, so. Okay, you got your list of
Yep.
bids?
I'll have it for you guys soon.
Okay.
So,
Was not on the list
What?
of what he wanted to remove.
It was not. It was not.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, council.
Okay.
We're good
All
with
right.
golf?
Okay,
I think we're,
thanks, Jake.
thank you guys very
thanks,
much.
Jake.
Thanks, Jake.
Appreciate it.
Streets?
Okay, can I start? Is everybody okay with that? I have a wild plan, and it probably won't go over well, but you know, I'm gonna present it. And Chris, here's your budget. So our wastewater, we have 3.2 million in availability funds. So that's 3 million towards our sewer lagoon. If we are allowed, which seems that there needs to be some clarification on that 1.2 ARPA funds, if we are allowed to move that back over to wastewater, which is where a lot of us wanted it to stay, if we take out your $3 million building, we take out the grinder machine, we've already we've already taken out the lowboy, and we limp by for 1 year with a vac truck and take that out, we could have a build fund for our sewer lagoon 10 of almost $9 million. Now, while I realize that's a $1.2 million difference, but again, this project will probably span into another budget cycle. Now, hear me out on this. So, if we allocate this money right now, and we get this awesome grant in August, my vote is that we reopen the budget. Sorry, Paula. We're gonna have to do this again. We reopen the budget and then we allocate that money elsewhere again. So if we move this money all to a sewer lagoon 10, if we get the grant in a month from now, then we can go back through this process and allocate that almost $9 million back out. Except for, it wouldn't be 9, excuse me, because the availability fund would be gone.
Well, you wouldn't have to reopen the budget if you received the grant, you're not spending it.
No, I'm not talking about the grant. I'm talking about reopening the budget to reallocate 3, 4, $1 million, $5 million. It would be about $5.5 million that we would have back to work with.
Are you counting the availability?
No.
Asphalt machine can't go into that.
Right, that's street.
That's streets, it's not available.
Okay, hear me out here. I understand the difference of the availability, and then we have all this extra money that we can put into a GL for the sewer lagoon. You can keep the availability completely separate, but all of this extra money that we have going out right now could be put into a build fund to achieve the City of Mountain Home building a sewer lagoon without a loan.
Absolutely.
Which money would you like?
I'm sorry?
Which number, which descriptions, I guess?
Okay, so we have the wastewater availability, which is 3.2.
Okay, that's states and availability.
Yep,
Okay.
correct, 100%. We have the fiber, 1.2 million for the LID construction number 2. We forego construction of LID number 2, and move it to wastewater.
Dependent on what? the
I already
bond
said that,
says.
yep, I already said that, depending on what they say, okay? Then we move, or take out, I mean, it's one and the same, the $3 million for the 1.5 that's been budgeted between water and wastewater for the new building.
So you're only able to choose 1.5, because water can't build a sewer lagoon, so 1.5.
It's $3 million, we just take it out and move it back into general funds.
You can't move it back to general funds.
It hasn't been allocated yet. Okay, hold on.
Wastewater.
Okay, $250 for the grinder machine, which we haven't said yes or no on.
That's in streets, not wastewater. You can't move those.
We can memo them.
You can't borrow from enterprise funds, that would be
We're,
borrowing.
we're not borrowing.
Okay.
There-
To take from water, that would cross the line between water and wastewater, though.
Yeah, because it's allocated between the two.
So she's saying take the street money, the tax money, and move it in, and use that as an allocated line for a sewer lagoon. So you're saying you can't use tax dollars for the sewer lagoon?
I think that's a question for Paul, but you've levied it into streets, so it's a levy, so how are you now transferring it into an enterprise fund? I don't know how that happens.
It'll be that, Paul. Is that an auditor question?
I am not an accountant. This I don't know. If it's, well, I could tell you just general principles of law that
So
if it's a levy, that's different than a budgetary movement of funds.
I don't,
So those are two different things.
I don't
But
see
I don't
the
think that's
levy
what-
on here for streets. Am I missing it here, Paul?
So a levy, yes, you can't take money
much
that
is
you're
it?
levying, you know, when you look at your property tax bill and there's certain, you can't move those around at all. However, to the extent that there are other things that are part of the general fund that you are now divvying up into the different, you can move those apples, around as much as you want.
So it'd be like library's levied fund. You couldn't take library money and go make streets with
Right.
them.
Correct.
Right.
So what yeah, and that's what I'm saying, and maybe this needs a little bit more work, but, you know, and I'd like to see the L2 to see how much of the streets are levied and how much is, I just actually like to see the L2 and work through those numbers. Anyway,
No, I wanna hear you out, right?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm
I was
saying.
trying
I
to
just-
itemize all the numbers. So the L82, we have to see what the auditors say for the 1.2, even though it's 1.5 in our budget book. And then you said the 3.2 for wastewater availability, right, Councilman?
that's your wastewater
Okay,
availability,
and then
yep.
what was your other numbers?
So take out the $3 million to build a new public works. Take that out. The grinder machine, take that out of the,
And that one's in question, right? They were saying because we don't
Yeah.
have that. Okay.
the low boy and the vac truck.
Okay, little boy back truck, and so
Take
the,
those out of the budget and then that gives us $5.5 million more.
okay.
And the low boy was split between water and wastewater. Did we pencil that in? The only half of that?
So,
Yeah.
Chris, where were you paying for all these things out of?
The funds that we have available.
Yeah, the 3 million and then 7 million or whatever it was.
And honestly, I will say this, and I hopefully I don't make anybody mad by saying it, but I will say that the $11.8 million to build the lagoon system is utilizing Keller and utilizing contractors to build it. We built a pool with street department. I believe in a worst case scenario, if we don't get a grant, I believe we could build a lagoon. We, the city, could build a lagoon, and we could save money doing it. I don't believe we could build a lagoon to the size and spec of the original plan, but we do have pre-existing walls of a lagoon out there already. If we maintain that elevation, I believe we could build a lagoon in that budget. It's gonna be a Band-Aid.
I just get concerned that, you know, if we have more big subdivisions come down the road of, do we approve them, do we not, do we have enough sewer?
I have the same concern.
I mean, that was a legit concern at our last,
It is, it keeps me awake at night.
yeah, so, and to my knowledge, we have a pretty big subdivision coming, out of P and Z pretty soon. And so, you know how you said you were just trying to figure out a solution to your street problem? I'm just trying to figure out a solution to our sewer lagoon, you know, I mean,
100% on board with you. I'm 100% on board with you.
and maybe some of my money, some of my numbers, like Paula, you'll help me with that, but maybe some of them cannot be moved over, but, I mean, I just found $9 million. We can almost build it free, without a bond, without a levy, without anything. So,
So it's safe, is it safe to say that the entire street account, because it's levied, cannot go?
we have to see how much the levy is for. Yeah,
You're saying like the above and beyond the levied amount?
well, there's not an above and beyond on streets. That's what I'm saying, some of,
Levy money into streets to fix your streets. The $3 million for the public works facility, 1.5 is in wastewater. If you want to do 1.5 from water, you're going to have to take a loan from water, and wastewater is going to have to pay that back. People pay their user fees for their water facilities. They don't pay their user fees in water or wastewater. That's a separate fund.
but they're both equally crucial.
I don't dispute that.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, just making a statement, they're both equally crucial, and so if we could make it work to where your auditors are okay with it, then,
You can do it, you
Yeah.
just have to get a loan. You just say, I'm loaning money from water to wastewater, and wastewater has to pay it back.
Within the fiscal year, right?
I don't know.
so, okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought it was like a warrant or something, you have to do it in the same fiscal year.
It cannot go beyond an indebtedness beyond 1 year, Article 8, Section 4.
Right.
That one.
That would make that difficult
Yeah.
return.
So how much, Councilman McGurk, how much money would there be if the things that are not in question at all simply got moved over to that build fund? Like the things that no one's arguing about, half of the $3 million facility, the $3 million fund that's sitting there, whatever else, like, is the back truck water or wastewater? I forgot.
Both.
So-
Yeah. It was
Okay.
850, I think.
Shy of 6 million.
But again, if you're building a new subdivision, they're paying connection fees so that you can put that towards your sewer lagoon. So the more houses you build, you're bumping up your availability fee. So you don't really need to say, oh, I only have whatever,
So we were-
500,000, you're gonna sell more
Right.
connections.
We are at 1,500 homes that we can go to today before we're at 85% capacity of the sewer lagoons. So what's 1,500 times
4,800 is your connection.
4,800, what is that?
That's what you'll gain if you sell 1,500.
What's 1,500 homes, Chris, times 4,800 bucks?
7 million, 7.2.
6,800,000.
We do what, 100, maybe 150
We're a little over 100 this year.
this year for building permits?
And then wasn't the statement yesterday
It's 10 years.
or last week that with all of the critical things they have done at wastewater, the capacity is better now.
Yeah, we're at the lowest point we've been in years.
So it's not as critical as it was. If you build all the houses, you have the money to put into sewer lagoon.
But it's worth noting, and I've said this before, that just because we're sitting well now doesn't give us additional EUs.
Correct. You know, don't have additional.
We don't have additional EUs, we're just doing
Just
a really good job.
insulation.
Yes.
so,
But you're 1,500 homes away from the 85%, and then you still have 15% more to continue to say however many years it's gonna take to do it. No, I'm just saying, no, you're good, I'm just saying that there's other funding that will come your way as you sell building permits. and homes come into the community.
Am I hearing you right, that like, you're kinda saying over the next, I'm just kinda calculating,
100 years.
over the next 10 years,
If you sell 100 homes a year.
we'll get enough, to get to that, I forgot the number, 7 million, 9, whatever,
$9 million?
$9 million.
11.8.
And so we don't start we don't start that next sewage lagoon until we have 1,500 more homes actually built, and the fees collected.
That would build your fund.
Right.
If that's the concern, then you want to do a build fund. Is that not what you were saying? You wanted to build fund?
Well, is that what I'm trying to make sure I'm understanding you
That
right.
would go into, so that was $7 million. And what you currently have in your availability fund is 3?
3 some.
So then you're at 10. And if you're building 250 homes a year, which is what all of the EDUs are based on, then take your 1,500 homes and divide it by 250, and that will tell you the year that you're going to need to have that sewer lagoon serviceable.
So we either push the build out many years, or we get another like DEQ type loan, build it now, and then make the payments off that growth.
Yeah, make your payments off the growth. Or if you're gonna do a DEQ loan and make the payments off the growth, then you have to have a history of selling them any building permits.
Right.
Also, if you're gonna make the payments to DEQ, you have to have a history of increasing your user fees. If you don't have the history of being progressive and building those user fees up, then they're gonna tell you no. And they have done that.
Consistently, and consistently our building permit have gone up every single year over the last several years.
Right.
We've increased
But
our
we were
fees.
told no by DEQ two separate times historically because the user fees were not increased correctly.
So we've increased our fees 4.8, 4.9%
So you're doing
for
really good now.
a number of
I don't
years.
think they would have a problem with it.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying, is I think at this point in time, that's a viable option, and if that's the option we wanna look at, I think it's important to look at it sooner than later, because last year, cell 10 was 10 million, this year it's 11.8 million.
Right, so then are you paying for your lagoon with your user fees? Or are you paying for your lagoon with your new connects? Or are you doing a 50-50 combination? We're gonna use the user fees and we're gonna do the building permits. All that goes into your long-term strategic plan.
And its
I just think
construction
it's time to
costs gonna
start planning
outpace
for it, for sure.
growth.
Oh, I agree, that's good, I lose sleep.
I mean, right now we've got the 2.5 and then wastewater maintenance fund, and then we've got the 3.2, I mean, and we have 2,557,000 going into CIP, and it's like, why?
So if you count all of the money are you looking at your treasurer's report?
I'm looking at my
I am.
budget book.
Okay, if you look at your treasurer's report and you're counting the money that's in wastewater alone, that is to fund the expenditures and salary of your department. And then after all of that's funded, then you put what's left in the reserve. So you can't just say, 2.5 on the treasurer's report, because that is to include your expenditures in your next year's budget and the projected revenue that you're gonna get. So you're gonna get the treasurer's report and the projected revenue, that's gonna balance your expenditure budget, including your salary. Whatever's left goes in the reserve. Availability's different, you just can set that aside to however you want, just the middle says construction. However, there is a hold of $420,000 in availability required by DEQ as a reserve fund, so if you can't make your payment, you gotta use that.
Yeah, and I didn't say, yeah, we gotta keep that in there, that's 8,300.
Well, I've always been an advocate of build funds, so if we can stick money aside, specific wastewater money, only wastewater money right now, and put it in a build fund for the lagoon cell or a wastewater treatment facility,
Well,
I'm on board with that.
I guess we're waiting for some answers, right? Like, how can we make a sound decision if we're waiting for the auditors to tell us where we can spend the LAD 2 money, and you guys were still questioning about the
250 grinder machine.
yes, and the low boy street bag, right?
I thought that got axed. The low boy got axed.
The lowboy was.
Well, it's put in reserve.
Right, put in
So
the-
that's what I'm saying. It was put in reserve, so let's move it.
And then the question was if that was, if we were able to do that due to it being outside of enterprise funds.
No, we gotta keep our enterprise funds completely, so that, it'll have to be those, that'll be the availability, which is what it is right here. That'll have to be kept completely separate.
Okay.
You can't intermingle the two.
So, I mean,
That's
so
all
that's what I'm saying, I
fine
guess there's
than
some questions still out there before we can actually probably see what the total numbers.
Is the question that you're asking, can you do a levy into streets and then move that to wastewater or the lagoon?
So when you were asked if the streets were levied, did you have an answer? Did you say it was levied?
Streets are
Okay,
levied, yes.
okay.
Streets is the only department that has
Gotcha.
an unlimited levy.
Okay,
That's
so
an-
that,
That's an easy answer of no.
no.
Thank
Yes.
you, Paul,
Yes.
thank you.
Which takes out the grinder machine,
Recycle.
so
Yep.
250.
So leave that in the reserve.
Yep.
That we already kind of self-identified.
Yep.
And, I mean, anything else that's in question, right? Whether if it's split water, wastewater, keep the split in water, the wastewater stuff, put it in the build fund. Only the specific wastewater stuff. The fiber stuff, we put that, didn't we kind of talk about that also being a reserve?
Reserve.
A possible, yeah, we'll get that answer for you. So,
But that's gonna have to come back in a matter of the bond paperwork,
yeah.
if it allows it to go elsewhere.
So dedicated into a lagoon build fund is the public works facility of 1.5 and the semi-low boy of 115,000.
And the back truck, you said.
Oh, and the back truck? You want
Yeah,
that
he
into
said
this
that back
one?
truck.
Can you get by, Chris, for
Yes.
a year with, okay,
And what was that number for the back truck?
850, it's almost $1 million.
I would definitely ask that we keep the Raptor control system in there though, because the Raptor is the inlet and it needs maintenance.
Agreed.
I would definitely ask for the mower management to be that, just
So the Raptor of 50 and the mower management of 25.
Yes.
So the equipment inventory replacement,
We can
Okay.
take that if you want.
okay. Well, that's, yeah, $17,000 more to achieve our goal. Let's see. What else was my other thought?
Like your initial proposal, and then my clarification simply for wastewater to stay into a wastewater build fund, are you good with that?
Yeah.
And then everything else that can't be moved stays in the reserve we already talked about? Then, are we good to proceed?
Yeah, and then we get the clarification.
I didn't understand that last part, but everything else we can, now stays in the reserve.
So
The LID 1.2 million that you're talking about will stay there unless we get quick clarification that says it can go into a wastewater build fund. Then it eventually gets moved.
It would-
And the,
just-
and the grind,
Just budgeted to go in.
okay, yeah, then do that, and then the recycler stays on streets as a reserve. Everything else that was water specific stays water as a reserve.
Right.
I don't understand the word reserve.
Oh.
Are you just saying not-
Allocated, allocated.
Are you saying that now in the water department, they could still do the public works facility, or are you wanting it just to say in the reserve fund itself?
In the reserve fund,
Okay.
yeah,
Come back and ask.
Yep.
We talk about later.
right.
Perfect, so we could just put all that into reserve, and then if there's a project that, Chris wants to do, he'll just come to the council and say, hey, this was held in reserve, and now I wanna do this project.
Yeah, that's my idea.
And I also think that it shows to the DEQ, to the that we're really trying to hammer in on this sewer lagoon issue. Because I think it's really important. It's been a conversation. I've been on council 4 years now, and we've just never gotten anywhere with it, so.
So you said the asphalt recycler is gonna go into the reserve?
Mhm.
Okay,
For streets.
yep.
Can I just get clarification on water? So the water rights bill fund, you know, that reserve?
I say leave the water right reserve.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta keep that.
yeah.
Public works facility in reserve, and the other two things are fine in water, equipment, replacement and meter reading. However, the semi-low boy would go into reserve.
Right.
Correct.
Do we need that 10.5 for equipment replacement and water, Chris?
Water, yeah.
Okay, okay. And the meter reading, yeah,
We're upgrading all of our meter
Okay,
systems right now.
okay.
And,
okay.
Chris, is the 10.5 and equipment replacement gonna be sufficient?
Okay, so now can we just, I have questions on streets.
Yeah.
So, the only thing that you want to see move to a reserve is the asphalt recycler. The rest of the stuff is fine.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay, so you just wanna see 250 reflected in reserve. Okay, and that's it?
Okay, so I have a question,
Okay.
once you're done.
Okay.
Okay. So if streets are levied, you would have had to have had this budget prepared before you did the L2.
I don't have the LT.
No, I'm asking you, that's a yes
I
or
have it.
no question.
I don't understand the question.
Okay, because you have to put in, you said it's an unlimited amount, so do you go back after? Cause the L2 has not been, approved yet, so do you go after and ask for this amount of money once we approve the asphalt recycler?
I have an estimate worksheet that tells me how much each fund will need estimated out of the property taxes we're gonna get. Then, the county sends me the L2, and then we work through it on what is needed in the departments based on what the council approves. And
So if we don't need that 250, we still are going to get it? And we can put it into reserve?
well, you would put it into streets reserve.
So we can still do that, that's what I'm asking.
You can put it in
Okay,
streets
okay,
reserve,
okay.
and then request the levy for that amount.
Alright.
I don't know, am I confusing you?
No, it's just like, that was kinda like, I thought we had to come back to that and you're like, telling Paul, yeah, thank you, Paul. So I thought that was still up in as a question, yeah.
It's streets, it's not a reserve in wastewater.
Okay.
So it's not a transfer to wastewater to haul for the sewer lagoons, it
It
has
is
to be in.
bucketized within
it
the
Sure.
has to
respective
be
budget.
in
Sure.
Streets as a reserve, not necessarily for the asphalt recycler, but for equipment
Okay.
that is needed.
Chris,
It can go to the wastewater.
Yes, and I didn't catch that, I missed that the streets were levied, I forgot that part, so that's out, but I guess my question is, should we do something with the 250?
Yeah, it's just gonna sit there.
I mean, yeah, we're not doing anything with it
we're
now.
not doing anything with the 250. We could achieve the start of fixing streets in parallel to all these other things. Like, that's the point that I think I was trying to make last week, was that it
I
would
am not
behoove us
for
to
the
have
asphalt grinder.
multiple fixes for multiple community problems happening at once, and we have that capability in this budget now.
6th Street cost us 80,000, so with 250, we could probably get a projected another street fixed.
Which is, again, one project
look
at a
at that,
time.
Chris?
But if you have the capability to address streets as a community, and the equipment, and we have the jobs in holding currently that are already allocated in salaries, again, I would advocate that the streets recycling machine re-enters that conversation, rather than setting it aside and hearing for another year or two here that we have crummy streets. We have the funding, we have the ability to hire the headcount and acquire this and start making movement forward rather than looking at piecemeal projects to expend those funds on.
I'm a hard no on the grinder.
Chris, how often do we chip seal our streets?
We haven't chip sealed this year. We actually haven't done it in 2 years. But we try to typically chip seal anytime we do new asphalt.
Okay. So, how does chip sealing work when it comes to recycling asphalt?
It chews it all up and uses it and recycles it just like it works just the same. You can chip seal a road 2 or 3 times, you can still run the asphalt machine over it, it works just fine.
So it quite literally grinds up the rocks
It grinds
with
everything.
asphalt,
It does.
and now the road has more of a, maybe not more in terms of percentage, but more of a rock
Correct.
base than a
Rock and oil mix base.
true asphalt. Not that I know what true asphalt is made of, but when you do that, the recycled asphalt now has definitely more rocks in it.
Correct.
Can that lead to breaking up the asphalt faster?
According to the manufacturer, no.
Okay.
We watched a nap and action. The road that they did was a chip seal road.
I'm sure it can lay it back down and oil it up and make it look pretty, but as far as the longevity of that road lasting through harsh winters, you know, and freezing and cooling and
This was in
freezing
the,
and thawing and
this is in the Cleveland, Ohio area where
the long-term effect of that road. Well, I'm not fighting anybody, right? But like micro trenching looks like crap, like in the road surface. Big old strip of oil that's already peeling and cracking apart looks like crap. And so does a project that looks good immediately, when you put a nice line of oil over a micro trench, a year from now when no one's looking at it anymore, it might look like crap. I don't know, like I know you guys got to see the asphalt recycler in place, but
I have not seen a road that was done 2 or 3 years after.
Yeah.
I have not, so I don't have an answer. But this is a joke, but I'd be happy to fly back to Cleveland.
yeah.
Take the whole council.
It's a total joke.
And then I have a question to put back to the council is, if you're putting 250 in reserve, what is your long-range plan? What's the reserve for? Is it for streets? Is it for equipment? What is
My understanding
strategically?
would be that it would be to build new streets,
Mhm.
minus the recyclers, what I understood.
Yeah, contract.
Why reserve it? Why not just build the street next year?
Just put it into the street.
Put it into the street budget.
I wouldn't
Chris,
any
do we have
objection to
any-
that.
do we have any current targets?
Throw that into,
Street reconstruction.
right, the street construction, 23.
20,
What did you just say?
It's the very top line
23rd
on
Street.
the. So what's the reserve for? If it's for streets, then just,
So that line has 500,000 in it now. The question is, does streets department have any current plans to pave a street without
Transportation plan that is guiding us to do street improvements.
So would an extra 250 help you?
Every time helps, absolutely.
I mean,
I'm okay with that.
I have no objection, put it in street construction fund.
are you good with that, Councilwoman?
Yeah, I'm gonna say no to the asphalt recycler. I reached out to two large companies on it, and it wasn't even just a no, it was a heck no, I guess, and they're pretty big, big within the business. So I had to do my research on that, and so just hearing from them, I'm a no.
But you're okay with.
But I'm okay for the 250 into the street reconstruction, yes.
I think I would leave the last comment here for myself as contacting competing outfits to a machine that would accomplish this in-house is, you're receiving the expected answer.
They're not
out
competing
of-
outfits
out
when
of
they're
a
out of state.
competing
They're not
outfit.
competing outfits when
And
they're out of
when
state.
when you look at what the common feedback through many a citizen has been the condition of our streets.
100%, yes, agreed.
Incredibly short-sighted. Chris, I hope you bring this back next year.
Since I can add my little end 2 cents, the person that I contacted is not in this business. And nor is he in direct competition with anybody that does anything for municipalities, so.
Okay.
That's,
I have two
That's
guys
up-
that work in paving in the
It's
state of Idaho.
fine, and that's
And
up for interpretation.
their immediate feedback was this could put businesses like them out of business. So
Yeah, and
we
put
have
ITD
competing
out of business.
we have competing feedback, and that's fine. Chris, I hope you bring this back next year.
All right, council. We're done with the budget, other than the clarification for fiber for tomorrow. So everyone's happy with the budget as is?
Um,
Oh, go ahead, Jenny, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Tiffany, you asked the question about the election, runoff numbers, right? You needed that too for the budget, right? Am I correct?
We were saying yes or no if we do it.
We didn't.
Yeah,
No, I need to know whether you want us to amend the ordinance to continue to do runoff elections.
Right. Oh,
To bring it
got you. So
down.
nothing to
Yeah,
the.
because ultimately, you're housing then an additional election and your taxpayers have to pay for that, is all I need to know.
Oh, okay, I
And you're
didn't-
one of few cities that do runoffs.
Mhm.
And really, the association and majority of the cities are going away from it.
Gotcha.
But because it is an additional burden of the taxpayer.
Okay.
Because you saw the overage.
Yeah, and I thought that's something that you
Yeah,
needed.
so I just need to know, cause we have to amend that when elections happen. So here within the next couple weeks, we can amend that ordinance.
I
And that's
gotcha.
the only time we can do
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought it
it.
was
Does that make sense?
reflecting towards this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nope, the only thing I needed on that was, salaries. or whatever.
Okay.
Well, we need to circle back around on the fiber salaries.
Yep.
That's not, yeah, that's not solved yet. And then I would like to be somehow included in the email that you send to, I'm assuming you're gonna send it to Bailey, which is not Bailey anymore, but how you ask the question of the clarification of the money. Because one hand's telling me we have to ask the auditor, and the other hand's telling me that we have to wait till we get our loan in place and see what they.
The auditors are saying it has to be notated in the bond procedure.
Yeah, the auditor indicated that he actually needed to just see those documents. He was like, well, normally there wouldn't be any prohibition against doing that, moving that apple to this apple. However, he constrained his answer, or he wouldn't give an answer.
Sure.
Because he said, I would have to see the bond agreement. He phrased a couple different documents that he had to review first, and he hadn't done that.
Okay.
So we
I just
were
wanna- I just
basically
wanna
asking
see
him
it.
to shoot from the hip,
Yeah.
and he was
Yep,
not gonna do that.
perfectly fine. I totally respect that. I just want to see it for my own eyes. That's all.
So did he.
Yep. Okay.
Tiffany, sorry, on the runoff thing, is the alternative answer just the most votes wins? No, you don't have to have a majority of, like, a percentage wise? Is that the alternative?
Correct.
Is that what is commonplace amongst the vast majority of citizens?
I think there's a total of 7 cities that do a runoff.
Okay.
And I could tell you the dialogue in last week's email was, how many are amending ordinances?
Okay. So as an example, if we have 5 candidates running for mayor or city council, and one person gets 21% vote, they win. That's commonplace.
Now, yeah.
It's a heads-up election.
Hitler won with 32% there, in case you guys ever wondered.
Well, I'm open to the conversation. I would certainly like to get the citizens' input. So whether it's we publish it well in advance and people come forward in their 3-minute time to say how they feel about it, as long as we get to hear as a council how the citizens feel about it. That's what's important to me. So maybe not a public hearing, but just put it on an agenda so everybody has the opportunity to come and talk about it. But maybe if we could publish a notice on our website that says, not just 4 days from now we're gonna hear this, but 2 2 weeks from now, the council's gonna talk about this, and come and give your feedback if you want to.
Okay. Go ahead, Tiff.
I think it's important you decide now, because in fairness to whoever wants to run in the mayoral election 3 years from now, amending it, I don't think you can. Could you?
I don't, this is another ordinance that you'd have to look at, cause it's, but obviously, for obvious reasons, you're constrained on when you could pass such an ordinance, so that, you know, 1 week from the election, you decide to change the election rules, yeah, that doesn't work.
I imagine before the declaration of candidacy opens, the window,
Yeah.
before it opens.
There is a
Well, no.
window, I just don't know
Yeah,
when it is.
well, an election law is kind of goofy, so it could be even further windows of declaration. So
Yes.
it could be 30 days prior to declarations being opened, right?
Same stereo instructions, now it's in Russian.
You know what I mean? And so that's the only reason I bring it up now, because if it doesn't decide now, then you're gonna host another runoff potentially, and then you're 4 years from now when we're in this seat again doing it. Okay, that's all. And we always seem to be behind the cart amending some of these things, so I was trying to be a little bit more with it this time.
All right, council. So the things that are being brought back, we're all good with. Anything else for the good of the order for the budget present stuff? Okay, I'm gonna run into, go back to final comments. You guys got anything?
Mayor.
Councilwoman Orkola?
Paul, I'm sorry, I haven't talked to Jeff on this. Do we know where we're at with the TNR? I know you pushed that for him to do, but has he spoke to you?
Mayor,
Oh.
Mayor, that's
Elections.
on my plate, and we have probably 2 weeks worth of legal work. We're probably gonna see that, not in the next agenda, but the following.
Okay, so in a month from now, okay.
I was told by legal it would come back in 26.
Okay, thank you. 26th of August, okay.
Sounds pretty rough.
Oh my gosh.
Really quick too, sorry to cut. You brought up a great point. So are we budgeting for a runoff?
I just was asking, I'm like, this is strictly for mayor, right?
It's,
Correct.
Yeah,
city council doesn't have it.
No, sorry, yeah, no, there's election money in there, however, we don't have to pay for a general election when it's ran normally, you have to pay additionally
Right.
in the runoff situation.
Right.
So where's the election money? I'm just curious, cause it's,
It wouldn't be until the next one.
oh,
Mayor's not open.
Right.
gotcha.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that makes sense,
And
okay.
the ordinance that we're talking about that requires a runoff is only for the mayor's position.
Yes.
So
Correct.
we don't have to answer this with today's budget,
No, next.
right?
No, it has no budget restraints to it, it's an
Okay.
ordinance that needs to be amended. That's
She
all
was
I'm
just
saying.
bringing it
I
up so that
thought,
we
I thought you were trying
keep
to
it on
tie
our
it to the
radar.
ordinance, since you're like, I need an
There
answer
is an
now.
ordinance for a runoff,
For the budget, sorry.
but not, there's no dollar put to that point.
Okay.
I just need you to put your thinking cap on and be ready.
All right, Jenny, sorry.
Oh, no,
Or,
you're-
sorry, Councilwoman.
No, you're fine. And then, one last thing, the pool flotation device issue. Have we figured that one out yet, Dennis?
Dennis?
Right,
The pool flotation device.
have I figured it out?
Have we, because it's been brought up to council, and I was talking to the clerk here, Tiffany, on some of that, and she said, didn't you say you were gonna bring it up to the department heads? I don't know if that happened.
Since last Wednesday, I have not done that.
Okay, no worries. I know you're busy.
So where I'm at with it is our, pool operator, Brianna Strong, has been out of town.
Mhm.
I wasn't going to make a final decision without her input into it. And so she is back tomorrow, and we will sit down and hopefully make a decision what is best for the community.
Yeah. Can you send us, an email on what you guys decide to do? Just because citizens are reaching out to all of us, then we can respond.
Certainly will.
Thank you.
Awesome. Mayor?
Councilman Harjo?
Quick plug for the library. There's a really cool thing in the library newsletter this go around regarding some of the programming. The summer reading program was, I think by anybody's measure, was very, very successful. 622 overall participants of kids in the summer reading program reading 676,000 minutes combined between May 19th and June 30th. So great things out of the library.
That's fantastic. Anything else? All right, meeting adjourned. think about